Good evening. Welcome to DIY with InRoads. I'm Jason Mose with InRoads Credit Union, and I'm really excited again to introduce Shannon Quimby, DIY expert and stylist, for you tonight. We are going to go over summer decor. So Shannon's going to show you how you can take some of your old things, spruce them up, liven them up, and use them for the rest of the summer or beyond. So again, this is DIY with InRoads, and tonight's special guest with DIY is DIY expert and stylist Shannon Quimby. Shannon?
Oh, Jason! I love it when Jason introduces me. It gives me a nice little warm fuzzy feeling. Thank you so much. And yes, it is full-blown summertime. And I'm all about reusing, rethinking, repurposing stuff we already have and use it into something else. And what Jason had also mentioned, yes, it's stuff that we have, and a lot of these we have inside. So I thought about what could we use that we already have inside and take it outside for some, summertime picnics or lounging in the park, reading a book, anytime that we can just take a moment to relax. And now with things changing, maybe opening up and having family around and friends and having some picnics, yes, I think it's the time to do it, and I'm really excited to share with you. So I hope you're ready, because I am. I'm really fired up. Okay, now you see some colors on here on the table, correct? And you're going, okay, what's going on, Q? So I also like to save a boatload of money. I really don't like to spend a lot of money on home decor and home accessories. So this right here, and I'll hold it up. Yeah, see? Nice and long and tall. I had a pair of these. These are old curtains that I had. And I was going through this like zigzag pattern time and everything. And I love the bold pattern of it, but I got kind of bored with it. I've kind of changed some of my interior colors where I had these curtains, and I had a pair. And so instead of them folding them up, putting them in the closet, I thought, well, what if we took this curtain and we made it and took it outside, spruced it up, add some color. Okay, so that's how I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So the first thing you want to do, and I'm going to open this up, nice big heavy canvas curtain, which by the way I scored at a thrift store, the pair for $14, I'm just saying. And that was about a couple years ago, but still, great price. So, the products that I'm showing to you tonight, or the items I guess I'd say, a lot of them have pattern, and I'm going to show you one that has no pattern at all. So you can do this with pattern or without, okay? So in this case, what I want to do is I'm going to think about outlining the lines. And I'm going to use this thick painter's tape, okay? So this is a 2-inch, notice it's thicker. And the reason why is because we're going to spray paint the fabric. And by using a thicker tape, you prevent some of the overspray that's going on to some of the pattern on the rest of the curtain that you don't want to have happen to do, all right? So it's really easy, and that's another thing about all of my DIYs that I do, is that I want them to be easy. I want them to be able that you can find it easy. You can find the products I use to create the DIYs. Instead of, it's my old standard line is, okay, everybody get the hood of your 57 Chevy and we're gonna make a barbecue. No. This is all common household items that we have. So
Shannon, I just want to remind viewers that if they have any questions along the way, that they can comment down below. We'll be answering as we go. Also, if you're wondering about some of the supplies that are needed, on inroadscu.org/DIY, you can find the instructions and some of the supply lists there to help follow along. You can watch the video now and go check that out later, whatever order you want, but we have you covered.
Yeah, exactly. We do have you covered because we want you to enjoy this process, not have your head down the whole time going, okay, I need 2-inch painter's tape. And what type of paint is she using? Yeah, we have that all for you, okay? So, 2-inch painter's tape, and I'm gonna go, see there's a whole bunch of lines here. And so I'm gonna go 1, 2. I'm gonna go 2 in. Why? No other reason that I like it. Okay, and I'm going to basically outline, I'm going to cover up the outer edge of the blues, and I'll lift this up and I'll show you as I'm going along here, okay? So I'm overlapping and I'm covering up the blue. See how that's happening right here? See that? Okay? So, because what I'm going to be doing is we're going to color between the lines. Right? A lot of times you're like, oh, just color outside the lines. In this one, we're coloring on the inside of the lines. So I want to then cover up the dark blue section because we're going to be painting the lighter off-white. So you just follow around the pattern of whatever your curtain is. And there's a little bit of an overlap, and I'm going to show you a really nice trick on how to get a really crisp line, okay, when you're taping and when also you're spraying. Because that is no fun when you spray, especially when you use fabric paint. I don't even know like fabric paint, or even when you're doing a wall, right? And you paint, and you pull the tape off, and all that paint seeps in. Yeah, that's no fun. So see what I got going here? See that? Okay. So I would take that all the way to the other side. All the way to from one end to the other. Then once you're done with that, and this is kind of a trick. Now you see that I have the tape that's overlapped into the white. Well, here's a fun way and a really easy way to make it a nice crisp line. I fold the extra tape over the corner, and I'll do a couple of them and hold it up for you so you can see. So I make it, and then I make a crisp line. I'm doing 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. These are for all the corners. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but see what I did? I flipped that tab over, basically the extra stuff that was going over into the white. I flipped it over. I made a crease. So I would do that on all the corners. And then you take your scissors and then you go down and you cut along the crease. And that creates a nice crisp edge. So you're basically creating an outline with a crease. And I'll show you. And it's really quick. It's really, really quick. So bear with me. There we go. So look at that. See? Very crisp. No problem. Piece of cake. Did I lose you? I don't think so. Now, then the next step is I usually take my same scissors. Now you can take like an old gift card that's expired or a credit card that you don't use anymore, and then you want to press down along the edge. I've used my fingers before and even my knuckles, but it gets really tiring, especially when you have to do it in a long stretch of fabric. So use something that's hard and that's durable, okay? And you just press down. I'm going to fold over this on the edge like that.
Ryan said she can't wait to see how this turns out.
I know. Right now you're going, what? I don't know. What did I sign up for? So yeah, so press it down all the way around like so. Okay, and this really is going to save you a lot of time in the long run. Okay, so nice and crisp. So I did it farther down on this edge, like so. Now, how many of you have used fabric spray paint before? 1, 2, maybe. I've seen it on the shelves. Yes, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of fabric spray paint. There's spray paint, there's fabric bubble paint, there's some in the tube, there's some that's in a pen form. I'm going to tell you about some of my favorites. And I've used it, the beauty about and I'll show it to you. I'm just, see, I'm doing the right steps so we don't create a mess later. But I love to use this fabric spray paint. Now, the fabric spray paint, think about this. It literally is just dye in a can. Permanent dye. So when you spray it, that's it. It's on. The beauty about it is, and I'll show you this, here's this one. This is by Tulip. There's a couple of different brands, but I've been able to find Tulip very quickly and simply on the shelves in a whole bunch of colors at some of the big craft stores. Now, the great thing about fabric spray paint is that it doesn't mess with the texture of whatever fabric you are spraying it on. It's going to It's going to feel exactly like the fabric that it's on, okay? And so that's the key, because if you're doing this on something that's touches your face, hint, hint, you don't want something scratchy. So if you used a latex outdoor paint in a spray can, or just regular spray paint, and you spray it on the fabric, that's going to come out really crunchy. Okay, and it's going to actually crack off the fabric eventually. Okay, so I have yellow amarillo. So you hear it? Yeah, it's just like that, just like a spray paint. So then what I'm doing is I go slow. I don't go crazy because you don't want the whole thing sprayed. And I just go up and down the line. Now, see what I'm telling you about when that 2-inch tape comes in handy versus the skinny, the 1-inch? Because with the 1-inch, then that means you only have 1-inch room for error on each side of the strip. Versus this, you have 2, okay? So, I'll hold it up for you. Yeah, look at that. I know you're thinking, yeah, it's pretty. I don't know. It is. It's really cool. Now, you would take that all the way down to the other end so you fill that all in. Now, also, don't worry. You don't have to let the paint dry when you do this, okay? Make sure you can go back, that it's evenly coated. Man, I did a good job. First time. Then you can peel. You don't have to wait till it dries. You can peel the tape right off. Now, be careful because the tape's wet with paint. And so if you drop your tape, yeah, did that, it's going to drop on the fabric. So you just kind of want to be careful. So you want to keep pulling it up like so and go, okay, bye-bye tape with paint. Okay. I'll just do this one too because it's wet. Go.
So Shannon, this paint doesn't bleed into...
No, and I'm going to show you right now. It doesn't. Take a look. There's a little section of it right there. And we literally just did it in like 6 minutes. And that's me stopping and talking. So it would bleed if you decided to skip the test and push that tape down really hard on the fabric, and you have to do it on a hard surface. Don't do it on carpet, even if it's a low pile. Definitely do it on a hard surface and a smooth, hard, flat surface. Okay. So now, what if you do have overspray? What if you missed something and you notice that the yellow went over into the blue? No worries. These are fabric markers, and it literally says on the pen, fabric marker. Now, there's 2 different types of fabric markers, and I'm going to tell you the ones that my favorite. Mine are the ones that have, and I don't know if you're going to see this, I'll hold my hand up. See how it has the angle, like an angled brush, like that? That's what I like. And then there are other fabric markers that they have a round tip. And you shake it, and as you can hear it, and you have to push down on the tip, and the paint comes down into the tip of the pen. I'm not a fan of that because a lot of times I shake it too hard, and then when I push down, it blobs. And so that's kind of what many of the DIY tips that I do with DIY with InRoads is I share, I would use this instead of that, so you don't have to. Okay, so I got the navy blue. The great thing also about these fabric markers is that they come in tons of different colors, and metallics and so forth. And so I would take this blue and say if I did do a little, I didn't put the tape down firm enough and there was some yellow seeping over, then I would just take this edge, which again I like that angled edge, and I'd make it nice and just paint over the yellow on the blue. Now, no, you won't even be able to see where I marked it. That's the beauty about a lot of fabric paint, is that it does come in so many different colors. Why? Because, as we all know, all you gotta do is go to the fabric store, and there's a quadrillion colors of fabric. So that's why you can have a great selection to do that. So, in this one, what I did is I wanted to keep some yellow and some cream. Now, also, notice these come in 2 different sizes. So you go through the paint quite a bit. If I wanted to spray paint all of this to get rid of the cream with yellow, that's a lot. That's a lot of taping and that's a lot of paint, but you could do that. But I decided to alternate like every 2. So you want to see the end result? I hope so, because I brought it. So I'll move this over.
Retta says it looks cool so far, so.
Now, the beauty about this too is I did, I'm doing a blue and yellow theme for this class. You can do colors, right, that you like. That say, well, ooh, I think red would look great on that. Or how about orange? Exactly, or green, go for it. So, here's the end. I feel like I'm taking the pie out of the oven at the end. So, I'm holding it up. I'm going to flip it over this so you can see it. See that?
Oh, that's awesome.
More. Now see, I went every 2, like that. And then I flipped it over and you're like, well, what are these in the end? I'll show you. So I'm gonna toss this over. But this old curtain, I'm gonna do another flip. Here we go. This old curtain now is the coolest picnic blanket ever. Or, guess what? When summertime's over, bring it back in, and you've got another curtain. You've, upcycled your old curtains into a cool blanket, summertime. Or, like I said, when done, bring it in and put it back up. So, how fun is that? And notice, like I said, I did every other 2. I like that splashy yellow with it. It just really livens it up. This costs $5.99. That's it. Okay? Now, moving on. Pillows. Remember I was saying about the texture of the paint, especially with fabric spray paint, that it doesn't change that? Pillows are really a great one. How many times? Okay, we got too many pillows. I guarantee you, most of you are going, yeah, I got too many pillows. It's actually one of the easiest ways to redecorate, and one of the affordable ways too. But then you kind of get tired of your pillows, or they get faded if something goes in the window and something, or you're just kind of tired of it. So here's one that I have. I know it's a cutie patootie, this nice little chartreuse, but I wanted to paint it again, and this one is painting outside of the lines. So this one was on the inside, and this is the outside. So, a whole bunch of different colors. I'm going to show, let's see, I think I'll do blue, that dark blue I was saying, to outline this. So this is so simple. It's so simple. So I think I'll just start on the end. And the great thing about using the angle brush is you can get right into the corners, okay? This blue is not, help me blue, help me. There we go, just taking a bit. This is taking, yeah, no worries. So this was a brand new pen, so it's taken a bit to come down, the paint to come down. So I'm just going to basically be outlining it on the outside and going around and making this nice line, okay? All the way around like that. The blue is taking me a little bit longer, so you have to go over it a couple more times. This is no big deal because this is TV time. All right, this is if you still have TV like me with commercials, I do. So I do this during commercials. So you can outline it all the way around, and then.
Or if you're Kayla, you're watching The Office for the 4th time, and you already know every episode. So why not do some DIY?
That's right. Or you got kids that are bored, and they want to do, you know, and what are you gonna do? Throw them some of these pens, you know, have them have fun and paint on their pillows. I mean, that's part of the fun about DIYing is there is no cap to creativity. You know, we can have fun with it. And I don't know about you, but some of my son's art, he's 19 years old now, but some of his artwork I love, 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 love. And I have framed it and I have hung it and I'll treasure it forever. So that could be something fun that you could have with the kids. Also, college kids, they're going back to school pretty soon. This is a fun thing that they could do in their dorms, you know, to accessorize their stuff for their dorms. That saves you money, mom and dad, right? So there's the blue. Now I could even do an alternate color if I wanted to. So this is gray, and this is more of a subtle. I don't know if you'll be able to see this one. Yeah, it's a little too light. That's okay. This is a little too light. But this dries really, really fast, okay? And I'm just basically outlining all the way around. The thing about with the pens is that you do cover a small surface in a short period of time. I would not recommend using the pens on something like this. That would take a long time. They do have some fat ones though, but I don't think you're going to get that really crisp line along any of this edges with the fat. They're like basically, you know, like we get those fat markers and you were asking, does it bleed? I think if you used a fat marker, it would bleed because you wouldn't be able to hold it true to its pattern. So but I've used this, I've loved the gray. This is taking a while to come down. It's all right, live. We're live. Gotta go with the flow. So I'm just carrying that around like so. And it just adds another element of detail, okay? And also, it's not hard to color outside the lines. It really isn't. You could actually even make another shape within the shape too. But see how I'm just going around with that? Here's the gray, like that. Not too bad. Finish the blue. Yep, we're coloring tonight. We're coloring. Remember, use the ones that have the angled tip, not the ones with the round tip where you literally have to punch it down, because that would not be fun. And then all of a sudden you punch the paint down into the tip and you go like this and it literally goes and you get this big blob. And then what do? Well, then you get a piece of fabric and you make a patch. You cover it up. You know, you accessorize the accessories. So, I'm bringing that all the way around. Now this looks a little faded, as you can see. The more you go over it, the darker it's going to get. Now, this particular fabric that I have on this pillow, this is an outdoor pillow. So it does have a little bit of that Scotch Guard on it. So that's probably another reason why the paint in the marker's taking longer to get in, because I'm really having to push down hard on it. You can take an indoor pillow. Once again, if you're done with it, right? Who cares if it gets dirty outside, you know? Give it a new life. I've noticed that with the the pillows that are indoors, the paint pen goes on it much quicker. And I'll show you. Okay? So there's that. Here we go. So here's one. Look at this one.
Ooh.
How cute is that? Now, I used the gray on this pillow, and so the pattern was the yellow, and then I just outlined it in gray. Notice it's much, right? Do you see how crisp that is? And oh, look what I did. Habit. But that's all I did, is I just went around with the gray, like so. And look, I can even see it go inside in this one too. But this was really, this got kind of faded. And I thought, why not? Let's add some color to it. Now, notice the back? That was cream. So it was this color. And I used, thank God that was spray paint. Okay, I used the blue, like so. That's all I did.
And for those that are just now tuning in, this isn't your regular old spray paint. This isn't the rattle can that you're going to paint the fenders of your truck with. This is fabric.
This is fabric paint. It's fabric paint. And the reason it's called fabric paint is because it goes on fabric. Okay? And yes, and it's dye. Once you spray it on, it never comes off. Okay? It's you know, red dye, you know, that you have in little packets, and you dip your fabric into it. It's the same concept, it's just dye in a can. What I also love about this is I can use this for a whole bunch of things. We've been talking summertime, napkins. You can do this on napkins, and then you can, you know, let it dry and then wash it. Now notice this is dark. If you can see how it's dark and light, it's the same concept when you paint on the wall. It's lighter, but then when it dries, it's darker, but then when it dries, it gets lighter. Yes, one or the other. I'm all messed up. Yes. Okay, so it's darker now. It's gonna, it's gonna get drier and it's gonna lighten up. Okay, but that whole back of that pillow used to be the cream, and now it's the blue. Simple, easy. I don't think I lost you. I'm going to set this up right over here. Now, how's that? Excuse me. I'll prop it later, because I'm going to use the blue. Okay. This is a bonus. We didn't promote this, but this is what I do. I want to give you guys always a little bit of extras. So this is an old bag. I love this. Look at it's frayed. I love this thing. I love things that worked hard. You know, they earned their keep. And I thought, well, what if we did that spray paint on something like this? Kind of like an ombre, right? So let's move this out of the way. So I'm just gonna have fun with this. Excuse me. Excuse me. So this is totally by the seat of our pants. See what happens. Okay? Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving that. Oh. You know, you could do this, or you could go to a high-end store and pay a whole bunch of money. I'm going to turn it around some more. There we go. Now, also, I recommend that we do this in a well-ventilated area. Okay? This building's huge. And wear clothes that you don't want to get paint on. All my clothes have paint on them. That's who I am. There's always paint on me or on my clothing. But look at this, I love this. See how that is just absorbing so quickly? Oh my gosh. That's adorable. I love that. How cute is that? Now you know what I could do. When this dries, I think what I'll do is then maybe I'll add some yellow on top of that. So I can color coordinate everything. So I can roll up my new picnic blanket and toss my pillow into my bag and go to the park and read a book. But I think that really turned out fun. It sure did. So, now let's talk, what are we doing on time? Do we have time to talk tassels?
We have time to talk tassels.
All right, okay.
Randy is ready to talk tassels.
All right, we don't want to hassle with the tassels. Let me get this out of the way. Pardon me. There we go. Also let this dry. This takes about 24 hours to set in and dry, okay? So, tassels. I'll prop that pillow up there for you. You can go buy tassels or you can make your own. It's really easy. I like to use a lid from an old tin, or this is actually a little small picture frame. Okay. Some people, if you Google this, you'll see they'll wrap it around a book, the yarn around and around the book. What I have found is that when you have to go to step 2, which I'll show you, it's really hard to get the second piece of string through. And you're going, what are you talking about? Don't worry, I'll tell you. So, we've got this yarn. I like this fat yarn. And once again, we have all the instructions for you, okay? Right on InRoads Credit Union, right on the website, for all of this, including the tassels. So you just take this and you just wrap it around, make it fairly taut, okay? You don't want to be all loosey-goosey, but you also don't want to be so tight that you're bending the tin. And then I scoot it up a little bit, and I just keep wrapping. And you're going to wrap quite a bit if you want your tassel to have some substance to it, like this guy right here, okay? Or if you want a tassel that wants to lay a little skinnier. So do you want a skinny tassel or do you want a fat tassel? We're going for the fat tassel. You don't hear those two words put together very often, do you? Fat tassel. Okay, so.
And you can make these tassels whatever color you want.
Yes, you can.
They could be red.
Rainbow. Could be rainbow yarn. That would look pretty. How fun is that? But you're right, Jason. That's the beauty about using what you have, because that means you already like it, because you bought it, correct? And then accent it with colors that you love. And using just a few little extras to spruce it up, to accessorize your accessories. Okay? So I'm just going to tape this to the end, like so. I don't know about you, but anybody have price tassels? I mean, some of them, they could be anywhere up to $15 a tassel. It's crazy. We're talking crazy. So, I wrapped it about 30 times. You can go 30, 40, 50 times. Depends. And notice I brought it together like so. Okay? Now, this is why I like to use a tin or a picture frame. Notice that we have this indentation here, and I can put my finger through it like this, okay? The same with the picture frame. When you use a book, it's flat. So think this is a book. It's very flat. So it's very difficult to get your fingers through that. So, piece of string, another piece of yarn. You can do a different color if you want to, it doesn't matter. But what makes it easy is that I can go right through that indentation of the tin like this, and I'll hold it up right in the middle, like that, okay? I'm gonna take, if I did it on this side, see how hard, look, I'm already having difficulty trying to get it through. So, same concept with the picture frame. because you have that opening, you can just take your string, your yarn, and same thing. Okay, so like that. Tie it in a knot. Like this. Okay. And then you, like so. I'm taking the tape off. Okay. And then you slide it off. Very simple. And now you've got a big ring. Like that. So you hold up your ends. How did I get, oh yeah. It's like, how do you get 4 ends? That's the ends of the long piece, okay? So here it is, here's my knot. And then I got this. Make sure you get all of them. It's okay if you miss one. And then you just cut. Okay? Like that. Now, that's common. Don't worry about it. You're like, oh my God, I'm stressing. My tassels aren't even. So you go around like this. You flip it up, because that will happen. Because we're human nature. When you have the big circle, no matter how you pull it through, it's going to be a little bit uneven. So then you just basically then trim the bangs. And then
There's been a lot of that during COVID.
a lot of bang trimming, yeah, and probably a lot of crooked bang trimming too. You just get it like so. You can fluff it up like that. Okay, that's nice. So that's that part. Okay, looks like, oh, I'm dating myself. It looks like Thing. Who knows who Thing was? What was that? What was that TV show? Was it the Munsters? Oh, I'm so dating myself.
It's the Addams Family.
Oh, it's the Addams Family. That's right.
I was gonna date myself and say you're like the Knight Rider of Tassels. You're the David Tasselhoff of DIY.
Oh my gosh, that's actually pretty good, Jason. That's pretty good. All right, so I think I'll accent it. Tasselhoff. All right, now you could use the same color if you wanted to, or you can add an accent color. Right here I use gray, so I'm going to use the blue, and I am just going to wrap that all the way around, like so, and I wrap it a bunch, okay, like that. It's so simple, you guys. It's so easy. And if you don't have any extra yarn, I'm sure your neighbor does. Everybody seems, especially if you like to do crafts. Teachers got leftover yarn. And you don't need a lot, too. This is the great thing about this project, is that you don't need to go buy a whole thing of yarn. You can do it with just leftovers, okay? And there you got that. So easy, so simple. And you've got a little tassel, like that. How cute is that? Then I just basically, not basically, I do, you just sew it onto the end. Now, this piece right here, if you wanted to, you can just make a loop. I just loop it around my finger and tie it in a knot. And then cut off the extras. Now the great thing about tassels, oh, I just had an idea. I was just to say the great thing about tassels is you can accessorize not just the corners of a fun little pillow or a really cool curtain now that it's turned into a picnic blanket, but right here, you can tie it. Oh my goodness gracious, how cute is that? Tie it to this, tie it to your bag, tie it to your kid's backpack, tie it to a piece of luggage that's black and you have no idea which one's yours until you see your fun little cute little tassel.
People are loving that idea, Shannon.
Like that? See? So fun, so cute. And literally, you guys, I literally just thought of this on the way here. And that's the beauty about DIY because it triggers other things. And I know that is so cute. That is so adorable. So I'm gonna actually keep that up there like that. Can we see that on camera? Okay, great. So those are what we have. So we literally did, in less than an hour, 1, 2, 3, 4 projects, and all of this cost pennies. You know, this was $1.99 at a fabric store with my 40% coupon, so even less. Stuff that we have, picture frames, old tin like this this is from a card game. But the secret ingredients is to use the fabric spray paint and also the fabric pens that have the nice angled tip. That really will make life much simpler and easier. And once again, remember to, when you're using the spray dye, it's called fabric spray paint, but it's literally dye in a can, that you do use it in a ventilated area. And, and make sure if you are messy, like me, wear clothes, or if you want to wear gloves, I'm gonna have a little bit of blue on my fingers for a while. I don't care.
We do have some questions coming in.
Okay.
Where do you get the paint? Do you have specific places where people should be looking?
Well, that's a good question because I have found both of these. The tulip I found at Joann's Fabrics, and I've also found it at Michael's. I've noticed that some of the larger Joann's Fabrics paint stores have more selections. So you can also order on Amazon, okay? You can order all of this. You can even go to Tulip. And if you wanted to do a whole bunch, they come in, you can get the smaller cans, they come in a 6-pack. Even the larger ones, they come in cans of 3. So if you're doing something that requires a lot of paint, because you do go through this a lot. Like this one right here, this was 1 can. So even though it was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes, it did take up, it was just a small one. It did take up this whole can, okay? So
yeah, Megan's asking, let me see the comment here. Oh, is it washable and how does it hold up in the wash?
Yes, it is. It's washable and it holds up just like any other color that you already have on fabric. Because once again, what I reiterate is that it is permanent dye. Okay, so wash it alone first, just like you do any other, new shirt that's, like the red shirt. Wash it by itself. Make sure this dries for at least 24 hours, and it holds up beautifully. It really, really does. I've used this on, like I said, on napkins, on fabric napkins that get a stain on them. We got those like your white napkins, and they get stains, and no matter what you do, you can't get the stain out. This is really good stuff that you can do to change your color. Okay.
Speaking of napkins, there's a question about the weight of the material. Does it matter?
No, the weight doesn't matter, but what I do notice is that on a outdoor fabric that has the Scotch Guard, the pen, the spray will go through much quicker. The pen's going to take a little bit longer to penetrate into the fabric because it does have, it's like a sunbrella fabric, so it does have that guard. But I noticed when I'm doing this, that eventually it does seep in, okay? But once it's on, just like this, it's on. You're done. I've used this spray paint on lampshades. I have used it on rugs, where I have created patterns on rugs. I've used it everywhere. That's why I thought it would really be fun to show you today about the summer stuff, that we have these outdoor things that we can use from inside. So we don't have to go out and buy all new outdoor picnic blankets or pillows or even fun little bags. you know, I'm all about saving money, reusing, rethinking, and repurposing what we already have. And then ultimately, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think I'm gonna get some compliments when I'm carrying this. They're like, Shannon, where'd you get your bag? Oh, well, why don't you go on DIY with InRoads and you'll find out. But that's what I love. I love the challenge. I love the challenge of taking something that we already have and accessorizing it with something simple as paint and yarn and tape and scissors. So easy, so simple, so affordable, and you can do this. I know you can. I know you can paint inside the lines. I know you can paint outside the lines. I know you can wrap yarn around a tin and make a tassel.
Rebecca says that when she's not using this during the summer, she's going to cover up ugly boxes in her garage.
That's actually a good idea. Who said that? That was Rebecca?
Yeah.
Rebecca, I'm stealing your idea. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Yeah. You're accessorizing your garage. That's, you know, it's funny, Jason said at the beginning of this, he was talking about these are like summertime DIYs that can be used year round. Rebecca, I think you just nailed that right there, didn't you? Yep. I'm actually making another tassel. How are we doing on questions?
Here, we have a question that was up above and I missed it.
Oh.
Meant to ask you earlier, Shannon. What are some of your favorite places to thrift?
Oh, okay. So now, my all-time favorite, and being spoiled, being in Oregon, because the Goodwill bins, because this is where Goodwill started. And so our Goodwills are to die for. And I've been traveling for the last 8 months, speaking all across the nation about DIYing, having fun with InRoads and so forth, and doing these doing these classes. The beauty about that is, especially here in Oregon, we have the bins. Now, that's not faint to the heart, because they literally are bins, and they're big carts on wheels, and you just go scrounging through. So I love going to the bins. I also love going to, I do love going to the Goodwills. I love going to garage sales. Garage sales, estate sales. Estate sales are really good, especially because they're selling all the Christmas stuff, right? And all the craft, a lot of sewing and such. And then you can have, and a lot of that doesn't sell very fast, and they're just like letting it go. But for thrift stores, I really do like going to Goodwill, and I also like to support any small business, any mom and pa's thrift stores. Some of the greatest stores that I find is when I'm just driving and I'm going through towns, and I'm like, ooh, what was that? And I find some of the most coolest pieces ever.
Well, I do know that locally here, we have a couple thrift stores that benefit senior centers, and they always have some great things that are really, really inexpensive.
Yes, there's also thrift stores that support animal shelters too. And anytime I see any of those thrift stores, I will go into those also. I'm a big animal lover, and I know that it's going to help the animals too. So I'm not like a diehard only go to one type of thrift store. I do stop at a variety of ones and see what I can find. Also, when you go thrifting, go without expectation. Okay? That's when you find something. As soon as you go, if you make a list and you're going thrift store or estate sailing or garage sailing, that's usually when you don't find it, and then you get discouraged. Instead, go without, it's like, oh, we're just gonna have fun. Let's see what I find. And then sure enough, I was just at a garage sale with my dad last week, and we pulled, my dad's like, oh my God, I've been looking for these for years. And he didn't even think about it. As soon as he saw them, he's like, no, this the score! Oh my gosh! And he was so fired up. But just to see that, right? And then to see the homeowners be so happy to see that somebody else bought it for them. And they were still in the box. I think they were car jacks, to hop up the car jacks, yeah. And they'd never been used. And it was like $20. Was it like
Score.
Score! Yeah, just like DIYing, folks, right? When you DIY, you score because you save money and it's original and you made it, or you made it with your children, and you made it with your friends. This is really good wine time too with the girlfriends. I have invited girlfriends over, and especially, which we're going to go, the next one that I'm doing, we're going to be going into fall, coming up in a couple months, and holiday. I will do girlfriend night. Look at, just made another one while I was chatting with you. So simple, so easy. I know, it's like a little ghost. It's like a little tassel ghost.
We'll save the tassel ghost for fall.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So anyway,
lots of love it's.
Oh,
so
thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast. You know, once again, all the instructions, even for the tassels, you can all go to DIY with InRoads, and they'll have, I wrote it all out, supplies, where to get it, how to do it step by step to make this really easy for you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon. We really appreciate you. Every time you're DIY with InRoads, looks amazing. I'm gonna close this out here.
Yep. See you later.
Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of DIY with InRoads. Like Shannon said, you can go to inroadscu.org/DIY to see this video. If you didn't get to see the beginning or you missed parts of it, you're making dinner, whatever, you can see the full video at inroadscu.org/DIY. We also have the instructions and the supply list for everything that Shannon showed you today. And you can go there, you can get that PDF, you can follow along and make your own beautiful summer decor. Again, from all of us at InRoads and DIY expert Shannon Quimby, we want to say thank you and be safe and healthy out there.